Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to part 3 of our blog series, exploring the possibilities of CX. We've talked about how rewarding a career in CX can be. We've talked about the emotional intelligence piece and the training, the upskilling requirement that's happening inside of the customer service arena. Now we're going to shift focus a little bit to AI and to reducing of friction and things of that nature. So Baker is definitely an expert in this area, as is Ujet. Baker, bring us down the right rabbit hole here.
All right, Nate. So yeah, it's kind of funny. This is maybe the first time in the last 5 years that I've had 2 conversations about the contact center where we haven't talked about AI yet.
Okay, perfect.
It's this huge topic that everyone's trying to figure out how to deconstruct and execute against, right? I think of it as sort of the elephant in the room. And the best way to eat an elephant, I've always heard is one bite at a time. So
if you must.
For starters, if you ask 100 people to define AI in the contact center, you're going to probably get 100 different answers, right? And so there's sort of this continuum or spectrum with simple automation and bots on one end, all the way to sentiment analysis and machine learning and really sophisticated speech rec and virtual assistants on the other end of the spectrum. And I think, by the way, we talked about this last time, the research is really consistent that as consumers, almost all of us would prefer to use some form of self-service whenever possible before speaking to an agent. So I guess there's a couple of questions here, right? So first, for contact center and technology leaders that come to Officium looking for that AI roadmap, right? Where do you start and what are the key considerations for deploying artificial intelligence without sacrificing that emotional intelligence that we just said was so important, right?
Yeah, a lot of times people have viewed CX and customer service as like just a cost center and not as a revenue generator, which it truly is. There's such an opportunity to generate real revenue and to protect revenue through great CX and great customer service. And one element of this is absolutely your automation strategy inside of what we call the service stack. You've got your people, you've got our what we call connect, you have transform, the processes, the different things that bind all this together in a really unique and compelling way that allow you to differentiate in terms of the mentality that you bring. But then you've got your innovate area of the organization, which is going to be more tool set focused and more automation focused. And this is where we do seek out some level of efficiency to supply the best customer experience that we can to meet the expectations that the customers have in this area. There are times and situations in which we guide the customer to the best resolution path, again, to use an effortless experienceism, and that's going to be to an automated channel. They need to pick up some information really quickly. They just need a burst of a suggestion or to be guided to a particular product or service. And that should be done very, very quickly and effectively. That's when we've got to have a quality capability in this area to guide the customers to whatever it is that they're seeking for, to be the guide to them. Again, it's always going to be about guiding the customer to their definition of success. Sometimes the guide is going to be R2-D2. Sometimes the guide is going to be Yoda and there's going to be some more rambling and some more running through the swamp. And that's going to be your agent. But a lot of times, R2-D2 is just going to go up onto the twin jet and fix the blaster with his little screwdriver and do that immediately in real time when the problem is being experienced. The agent can't do that. They're stuck in the cockpit. So we have to have both of these things in order to effectively guide the customer to success.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've seen is, artificial intelligence, there's been so much like media hype and everything around it for decades now that a lot of people think of it as, it's sort of this self-aware, sentient technology that you just sort of set it and forget it. But more than anything else, most contact centers really need to start with process orchestration and automation, right? Do you have the ability to blend the historical customer record with whatever context can be derived from the real-time interaction to assess whether or not to present this person with a virtual agent or skip that virtual agent and go right to a live agent based on the challenge they're having, their status, the complexity of the issue at hand, right? There's so much more that we need to do in terms of process orchestration and automation before we ever get to things like sentiment analysis and agent assist technologies, all of these things.
Yeah, I mean, I like to talk about it in terms of knowledge. Does knowledge flow through your organization and your tools? Or is knowledge stuck? Is it stuck inside of people who aren't putting it into tools? Is it stuck inside of a tool that doesn't integrate with the rest of your infrastructure? If so, you're not ready to do AI. You're not, the machines can't learn because the data is trapped. So, I mean, the very first thing that we do, and we like to call it knowledge core, in terms of just unlocking and opening up your knowledge capabilities and curating it well, so that you can then bring in effective automated channels. You can leverage the amazing technologies that exist today in this area. But you're exactly right, Baker. That's step two. Is step one is not to go out and buy a tool, because the tool can't work unless it can eat great data, garbage in, garbage out. So we've got to put really good, high quality knowledge out in front of it first.
Yeah, I love that. We think in terms of data, right? And there's two really big sort of categories of data that are essential to resolving any issue or interaction. One is that individual customer record, right?
Yeah.
And then the other is your knowledge base of reference articles and solutions that are really more an aggregation of that organizational knowledge that you're referring to, right?
Yeah.
One of the big challenges that we see in the space is that almost all of the providers, data is the new oil. So many of the vendors are trying to keep control of that data because they see long-term profitability in it.
Yeah.
The challenge for contact center leaders is if everyone's fighting over control of the data, then no one is giving them the big picture, right? We're only selectively mapping what we need to from the contact center to the CRM, or from the CRM to the contact center. One of the things that we've done differently at UJET is we actually don't want to store any PII. We de-scope a lot of the privacy and security considerations that way. But more importantly for our customers, we read and write all interaction data to the CRM, the existing system of record. So sales, marketing, and support now have a truly unified view of that historical customer record. That allows us to inform routing, to inform sequencing, direct access points, all of these things that you can do, but only on the basis of having that critical data at your fingertips.
It's such a superpower. We've been calling that, I don't think we coined it or anything, but having that 360-degree view of the customer. And if we move even beyond and outside of providing incredible customer service, which you can do when you've laid that foundation, Baker, that you just described, now all of a sudden we can see the impact that great customer service has. We can see through that journey of that customer how we've impacted share of wallet, how we've expanded the customer lifetime value associated with them, from making them a detractor into a promoter, or something of that nature. We can now really generate an ROI conversation, looking at what it is when somebody receives poor customer service and what that does to the long-term relationship and the profitability, versus when we do a great job providing customer service and we have that wonderful view of the customer's behavior. Suddenly that's why this work is so strategic. We can demonstrate that this is how we grow loyalty. This is how we earn new customers is by doing a great job with the ones that we have. And now all of a sudden customer service is your sales engine.
Yeah. We talk about the historical customer record, we talk about the knowledge base, but one of the big promises in our industry for a while now, omni-channel, has been the ability to preserve context throughout an interaction. Yeah. And we even talk about all these omni-channel solutions, meet the customer where they are. Well, guess what? 80% of your customers are right here. Yeah, that's where the interaction volume is coming from. And overall, we've not done a good job of tapping into all of the context available there. True. Not just what's explicit from the customer or from their login information, but metadata and context. One of the examples we use all the time is, like roadside assistance. If someone's on a mobile phone contacting your contact center through an application, Why wouldn't you leverage geocaching to know their precise location, find the closest available subcontractor driver, and get
Yep.
them what they need as quickly as possible?
Hmm.
You know, you ask them where they are, where they're going to, they're going to walk up the road and look for a mile marker, right? There's so much context available by leveraging the smartphone. But in general, most contact center leaders haven't been able to tap into that yet.
Yeah.
We have some solutions for it that we're happy to talk to anybody about. But I think it's a really, really important piece of the puzzle.
It's almost like in many ways that the omni-channel concept has been simplified for us. You know, it used to be this idea of be everywhere for your customers and offer all these different channels. Now it's becoming more and more, no, do a great job here. And then suddenly you're present, you're available, you're doing what you need to do to, again, guide the customer to the best resolution path. Not every resolution path, the one that actually is going to resolve the issue in the most effective manner possible.
Yeah, well, look, the idea of omni-channel was to reduce friction when we force our customers to switch channels. The problem is we continue to treat mobility like it's a channel, and it's not.
No,
It's a paradigm shift, and you can blend all of the channels
yeah.
seamlessly here, so you can really deliver on that frictionless customer experience.
Well stated, Baker. Well stated. I believe we're teasing up vlog number 4, if I'm not mistaken, on diving even deeper into our friction topics. So let's go ahead and wrap up for this week. But thank you for going on this journey with us through the possibilities of CX, and we will catch you next week.
You got it. Thanks, Nate.